Morning in, my tutti frutti lot. How are you on this Monday moment of madness? Um, yeah, I hope you're all doing well, and I expect you've all thought like, oh my god, what's this like lady? She's losing her plot, isn't she? Here on this like journey of voicing her story. Sorry, I know I'm a little stuck there, but yeah, maybe I'm a bit anxious because like what I speak about and what I say, I know it sounds absurd to the human ear, to the human mind, and it's very hard concept to fathom. Um, so I just wanted to say, in life, we get we get a good shot at making it right, yeah, and being who we want to truly be and what we think we need to be, or as humanity and society say this is how we should live and that's what we should live like, and we're meant to do this and we've got to do that and we must behave like this and we must act like that. So obviously after 3 major surgeries that were to save my life, or to stop me from being paralysed, I got kind of lost. In who I am, and I started seeing myself as the hurt and pain of what I'd lived through, and then I started asking myself, well, why me? Why did I have to go through that? And then it came to me getting very confused and very erratic and very stressful and very snappy and closed off and shutting out people and not allowing people to help, because my mind was taking me back to the past. But I didn't quite realise at the time, obviously, on the timeline I was here present on, I wasn't able to see the chaos and destructions of past behavioural patterns and thought processing and emotional feelings. I hadn't processed them. I hadn't accepted that that's how they made me feel or led me to believe that I should be like that. So it came to a point where I said, like, no, enough's enough, Joe. Come on, look, everything that's in front of you that you're seeing, that you're witnessing, that you're feeling, and you're feeling it very extremely and very intensely, it's got to be looked at. Well, so in that, I stopped, and I wanted, because I wanted to understand my emotional intensity disorder. I wanted to understand why I couldn't control the emotions or even pick up them before they were slam bam whacked in my face, and it was like that emotion's there and it's taken hold of me and I've got no way of pulling myself back out of it. So I stopped. What I was doing in my day-to-day life, and it's been really hard because of everything I went through, whether it be growing up, feeling outside of the family, or feeling like everybody else wanted nothing to do with me, or they were jealous and envious because I was liked and I was talented and I liked to sing and dance and I liked to put on a show and make people happy. I had to take myself right back, because at that time when I did it, I just had this inner knowing that I was meant for more, and that I was cheating myself out of what my heart truly wanted. But in that, I had to sit down and I had to look, because I look at the timeline now and I look at how they produce music and I look what it perceives, and I look how it's portrayed, and that was starting to make me hate what I truly loved. And my true love has always been being creative, whatever way, whether it be musically, actively, like acting, dancing, singing, joking, laughing. I've always liked to try and make it the best when I'm doing it, the best way to be the best for everybody, not just myself. And I've always been like this in my life. I've always wanted everybody else to be happy, because it makes me happy to see them happy. But in doing that, each time I took a chunk out of myself and what made me happy, because I had to stop doing the things that I loved, that came naturally to me, to be able to make others happy, when in fact it is not meant to be like that, you know. So if we take it all the way back to the roots, it's got to come from maybe the way I was brought up, or the behaviours that I learnt, or the behaviours that I watched, or that I saw on the TV, or, you know. Then that made me question, well, okay, so it's a learnt behaviour. How did I learnt it? Because I saw it. Then it got me to asking, why am I so affected by it? Why is it affecting me so much? Why am I feeling all these intentions so much? And but at the same time, they didn't feel like they were my feelings, because I had no reason to feel them so immensely intense. And then I realised I was lost in the human experience, the 3D, the world as us humans see it. I started to realise that the reason my heart was hurting so, and I was feeling these feelings and emotions so immensely and so like catastrophically intense, I started to realise I was losing who I truly was. I was losing my spark to my soul. I was losing my creativity. I was losing the love that I had within for me. And I was allowing others' emotions to take hold. And I should never have done that. Do you know what I should have done? I should have continued to do me, how I knew to be me. And my life is about dancing, singing, being happy, loving life, feeling loved, giving love, being loved. But I found that in trying to dim who I was down to make others not jealous or envious of my talents, my gifts, whatever you want to call them, it didn't do anything but almost break me. Now, why would I want to break myself? It didn't make sense to me. And then I started thinking, right, okay, I'm looking at this from the brain point, my heart point, and I'm still not understanding to why my life has gone the way it did. So I started looking into it, thinking, right, okay, I know my parents are my parents, and their blood, and genetics, and and the science side of it. And I don't claim to know everything. I am not a genius. I'm far from it. Yes, I may be intelligent, and I may dim and dampen myself down and make myself feel like I can't do it, so I make myself feel like a failure. But why did I feel like a failure? Because I've always felt like a failure ever since the day that Ever since I was a little girl, I can remember this immense feeling deep inside of, I'm a failure. I'm a failure. But I couldn't understand why. And do you know that feeling of failure, being a failure, of thinking everybody thinks you're a failure and that you're going to fall flat on your face and you're not going to succeed? It took over. It got so strong, but it didn't feel like me, because I know what I've overcome in my life and the challenges that I've overcome and got through and come out the other side still able to love others and show love and give love. I knew that this the intensity of it was impossible to be mine, because I faced my issues, my feelings, my thoughts. I was able to do that when I got my diagnosis for autism and ADHD and unstable emotional intensity disorder. So I was able to bury a lot of things that had been holding me captive to my past. But I still had this deep-rooted, seated feeling of, I'm a failure. I failed. I really failed. And then it got me to thinking back over the years of, my love for music, how it's kept me grounded, how it's kept my heart able to be positive, and my mindset to being able to look and see and learn that the bad things or hurts had to happen for me to see the truth within myself. It's not nice going through them. It's horrible living something that doesn't make you feel whole, and that you shouldn't be living like. But it made me look back, and then it made me look back at what I've actually been through. And within that, I saw my strength. I saw my resilience. I found my courage. I found myself. I found my voice. I found my heart. I found my toxic thought patterns. I found hurts from my childhood that I'd been holding on to that I didn't realise I had. I found expectations I was putting on myself that were way too high and totally unreachable. I found blockages I was putting there on myself. I found Joe again. And Joe told me to tell you that it's okay to feel hurt, to feel misunderstood, to feel unloved. But what isn't okay is allowing them emotions to create who you portray yourself to be, and to hide away from them and ignore them and bury them deep down, bury them deep down inside that soul that needs you to let go of them, but you choose to ignore them because it's too scary, because you know that those thoughts hold emotions. Them emotions hold feelings. Them feelings can be extremely painful and dark and lost and abandoned and controlled. But I learned by allowing that emotion, that fear that I don't know where it came from, to take hold of my soul and who I know and what I've lived through, to be fact with what I know wholeheartedly, 100% and honestly know that I shouldn't have had that deep-rooted fear of failure inside of me. My life hasn't given me any reason to be like that. My mum and dad, when we was growing up, me and my sister, my mum and dad always taught us to do our best, just try our best. And no matter what, as long as we tried our best, that was good enough for them. That's what they asked for, was for us to do our best. And then I realised, well, they asked us to do our best. They asked us to just try our best. And then I realised that deep-seated feeling of failure wasn't mine. I don't know where it came from. Maybe it's my ancestors. Maybe it was in my energetic field. Maybe it's from musicians from before, actors from before, people in the entertainment industry, the love of creation. And then I started looking outwardly at it and how it must have been for them people, them young artists that started young, that didn't get a choice because their families were already in the musical or magical world of creation, and they didn't get a choice. It was an expectation of them. And then I started to see, okay, why am I feeling all of these? Why have I? And then I started thinking, okay, so if I'm feeling all that and these aren't my feelings, I know them to be fact, that I don't feel like that, yeah? I'm quite happy being me, being Jo, knowing that I'm talented and gifted, and I'm happy to share it with people I love, and in my home. I started thinking, but okay, well, I remember when I was a child, I always wanted to perform. I always wanted everyone to see me perform. I wanted people to be watching me and taking the happy vibrations that I was sending out and getting hold of them and allowing them to embrace them so that they felt good too. And then with that, I started thinking, well, okay, so that's kind of like am I an empath? Am I a very high sensitive empath? Because I feel and I sense what others are feeling. And then I started thinking, okay, what is it that I'm not seeing? And then I thought, okay, I've got to go back to my childhood again. So I started reliving my childhood and the feelings that I felt growing up, and instead of pushing them down and ignoring them, I started to try and understand them. I started to look into the confusion of why they were jumping all over the place, and why 1 minute I was happy, 1 minute I was sad, 1 minute I felt invisible, 1 minute I felt seen, 1 minute I felt misunderstood, one moment I felt powerful. And I started to look at why it was jumping around crazily and all over the place and like mayhem. I felt like fucking Spaghetti Junction in my head, in my heart, in my soul, in my body. And I started to realise, that okay, we're here on this planet as people. How did we get here? How did it begin? What started it all? What truly, really, honestly started it all? And then it got me back to thinking, right, okay, well, I'm looking at how we learn things, how we're taught things, how we have culture, how we have certain religions, how we have people that believe in incantation and life after death. And I started questioning it all. And then it got me thinking, okay. So then I started looking at people in a general, what our behaviours and what we do, and how we try to protect ourselves from pain or stop ourselves from being hurt, or how we don't stop ourselves from feeling the hurt because of our need to fit into society and what society says is acceptable in humanity. And then I realised, okay, so we are programmed from the moment we come into this world, we are programmed into believing that this is what is meant for us. So I was born into a middle class family. Mum and dad, they weren't poor. They were comfortable. Dad had a good job. Mum had a good job. We had a nice home. Mum and dad knew right from wrong. I had a sister. There was lots of love at the beginning, until the pressures of my mum and dad's jobs became more unbearing for them. So they had to put more work in to the job, and unfortunately couldn't put all their intentions, their true pure intentions, into being the mum and dad that me and my sister needed. And that part of my life, you all don't need to know that history. Yeah, we have traumas too. We have hurts. We have pain. But as people as a whole, we learn to put on a mask and get up and face the day and do it with perfection. Because that's what we're meant to do. That's how we're meant to live, so they say. But what if that's not how we're meant to live? What if that's not how it's meant to be? So I started looking at things in a completely different aspect, and I started trying to find things that Mum and Dad said to me growing up that would help me get through what I was facing in my head, the darkness of my brain and my thoughts and my emotions and what I wasn't facing up to. And I started looking at some analogies and quotes and affirmations that Mum and Dad used to say to me or my sister when growing up. And a couple of them I remember to this day, and I will never forget them, and I live by them, and I will live my life by it for the rest of the days that I'm here on this planet. And that is, 2 wrongs do not make it right. And it takes a bigger person to stand up and say sorry for the bad choices and mistakes that they made when they were in a space of not being true to themselves. And also, another one is, I will to never lower yourself to standards that you know are beneath you. And so it got me thinking, okay, I see this, but where does it fit in my life? Where does it fit? Why do I need these analogies to fit, to make it work for me, for my heart to be free and for me to be happy? And it has taken a long time for me to understand where I need to put them into play and action in my life. And I'm finally seeing it now, that, okay, all these emotions and thoughts that I was feeling and everything that I couldn't understand were all thoughts and feelings of what I was feeling as a child, and that I'd kept hold of them, and I didn't realise I'd kept hold of them. As I kept hold of them, they were getting immensely bigger, more intense, and they were screaming out to me more. And it made me realise that I was keeping my past in my present and making myself a prisoner of thoughts and feelings that I didn't understand, that nobody helped me understand. And maybe that's because they didn't understand themselves, or maybe it's because I didn't speak up, because I didn't have the strength, because I didn't really know what was going on with me. So then I thought, okay, let's take this to a different wacky side, like, you know, looking back at my accidents and how I've survived death twice, and I'm not paralysed, and I'm walking again, and and I'm here. Okay, I might have a few hurts and a few pains and a few injuries, but I'm here. And I look back over my life and I think, I don't know how to speak. This is when I speak about what I've lived through. And the hurts and the betrayals and the misunderstanding and the resentment and the loneliness and the feeling of emptiness and not being involved, and as if I was an outcast, and all I ever truly really wanted was to be a part of what was going on. And then I realised, okay, if that's what I've truly always wanted, I want to be a part of what was going on. It took me back, and then I started thinking, right, okay, I want to start again. I don't want this. I don't want these feelings. I don't want these emotions. For I know I've accepted who I am. I'm a bit wacky. I'm a bit out there. I've got an imagination that soars this plane. It is so vivid. It is underestimated by far. Then I realised, I looked and I thought, okay, so took it right back to the beginning, me being a child, going to school, learning this and learning that and learning this. And then I thought, okay, so I learned about my ancestors and timelines and spans and everything and the frames and da-di-da-di-da. And then I thought, okay, so I took that timeline and I put it to my life. And I kept putting that timeline in my life. And I kept coming back. And why was I kept going back to why do you keep bringing me back to the beginning? I'm a good person. Everything I do from my heart to try and help others see themselves and be happy within themselves. Yet I still keep landing up with all these people, emotions, thoughts, feelings around me, as if they're trying to control my choices of wanting to do it. Because when I do what I do of helping others and helping them see that, it's not their fault, or the circumstances, situations are out of control, or, it couldn't be helped. That's my joy. I like to do that. It gives me happiness. But it doesn't make me feel whole. And then I realised I was sacrificing my loves, my passions, my truth to help others, to make them feel better, to make them see themselves in a better light. And then I thought, well, why am I doing that? How come I find it so easy to do for everybody else, but not myself? And that's when I realised, okay. That's when I remembered, I'm not this body. This body is what gets me around and makes me experience this world and see things in a way that my soul can't see or feel. And then I realised, okay, so I denied myself thinking, making and helping others was truly going to make me happy. And I was able to be me, truly be free, be me. But when I stopped and when I paused and I said, no, I'm not happy. I'm not me. I'm not me as I know it. I know I'm meant for more. I know there's something more for me out there. It made me question myself on who I am and who am I? Where did I come from? what am I doing here in this present moment? Why am I here in this present moment on this timeline of feeling so alone, so lost, so emotionally challenged and unstable? And on this timeline of feeling I can't trust nobody, not even my family. And I just felt this darkness, this darkness kept pulling and pulling at my heart. Like it wanted to pull me back into the darkness. And I thought, okay, this ain't making much sense to me, but I'm going to roll with it, yeah? Because maybe it's not meant to make sense. So I went, fuck, I'm not thinking about this no more. I chucked away all them bits of the brain that kept making me think all this, like you know. Because I've always been told I'm a very emotional person. I always see the good in everybody. I'm too trusting. I'm too loving. I'm too giving. I'm too this. I'm too that. So when I stopped and I actually started listening to what I was feeling and the vibrations that were coming to my body, it made me see that I needed to get out of my head, because that's where the program began, in the brain, in the mindset. That's where the trickery started, the illusions with the head, because words and thoughts are a very powerful thing. That's what people don't realise. They hold a lot more power than we care to admit. So I jumped out of my head. Then I got really lost, because I've always felt empty, but knowing that I feel. But when I jumped out of my head, I got really lost because I was so scared of letting my heart feel again because of my emotional intensity disorder and not being able to control how the emotions get so intense. I got lost and I freaked out and I stood still and I allowed the thoughts to consume me again when I knew it was wrong. Them thoughts aren't right. That's not true. That's past thoughts, past feelings. That's not fact of here and now. So I had to talk myself down, you know, my heart, my head. I had to talk myself through it. Yeah, and you know what? I probably looked as crazy as a box of fucking cookies and frogs. But that's me. I embrace craziness. I love craziness. All the best people are crazy. All the most creative people in the world have got a hint of craziness to them. And that's what made me look at the bigger picture. So I started looking worldwide and thinking, okay, so if I'm feeling like this and I'm looking at that and I'm looking at that and I know that, and I'm starting to feel that these people felt like that too. You know, I started thinking, okay, maybe it's not such a random thing that what I feel and think to be true of society and how I see the world and humanity isn't actually false at all. It's actually quite true, and real and honest and raw and pure. Then I started looking into, how did society get like this? How did humanity get to behaving in this way? And then I come and I thought, okay, past lessons, past leaders, past artists, past fame, past industries, past cultures, past religions played a big part, a massive part to how humanity got to where it is today. And then I started thinking and trying to put myself in the people's in the people that had a role of leadership. I tried to put myself in their shoes. I tried to understand it from where they were, what they were going through, and what could have possibly been going on in their lives, or what they'd lived through, what they'd witnessed, what they'd seen, what they'd learned. And then I realised, okay, it's the past. The past does not make you who you are, nor can the past break you. The past is the past. It is an emotion, it is a feeling, it is an energy, it is a source. But it doesn't make you who you are. It doesn't create you. You are you. And when you give in to being you and not what you think you are or believe to believe what you've heard you are, then it makes it easier to move forward and do the right thing for yourself. So in understanding all that, I came to the conclusion that because I'd shut my heart off, because I didn't want to suffer, I didn't want to feel that pain anymore. My heart was hurt, it was broken, I could physically feel it falling apart. It was painful, it was actually really painful. I come to the conclusion that when I did, I shut off my brain as well from the actual game of life and allowed it to become the mind game of humanity. So within learning all that and looking at all that and sifting through everything, using whatever way I needed possible to understand it, if I needed to use somebody else's life experience or look at it, look at my life through their eyes and their experiences to get an understanding of what I was feeling and thinking, the emotions that were arising that I had no understanding of, then that's how I had to do it. Even if it meant I looked crazy and whack and, oh, I mustn't do that because society says that behaviour is odd and strange. We mustn't do that. We've got to be perfectly perfect and perfectly right. I cast that aside and I realised that it was an illusion. An illusion used by words, and words hold power. And then I realised, do you know what? I'm not what they say I am. I know I'm not. I know I don't deserve half of the things I've lived through. I know I'm a good person and I have a good heart and it is full of love and happiness and positive and cheer, and it wants to share it with everybody out there. But it keeps pulling itself back and shutting itself off because it's been hurt so much over the years, over the decades. Now, I've turned 41 on the 4th of November. I nearly lost my life in 2013. I had a perforated bowel and I lost the child I was carrying. I'm not going into the background of that story. Many people involved, they have their own view and opinion of it. I have my own view and opinion of it. My truth. And I will walk my truth. And I will speak my truth and I won't hide my truth. And it hurt. It destroyed my life. I lost my home. my child, myself. I became disgusted with my appearance because I had to have a colostomy bag to keep me alive. If I hadn't have had that operation, if I hadn't signed that paper, I wouldn't be here today. Yes, I suffered loss. I suffered pain. And it brought pain and hurt to the people in the situation and the surroundings. But it had to happen. There was a reason for it happening. And now I understand that reason. And that reason was to wake me up. To wake me up to the fact that I was denying my true self of happiness and joy and love, positivity, creativity. And I asked, why would I want to do that to myself? Why would I want to hurt myself in that way? And I realised I didn't want to hurt myself in that way. I'd just become a fool and lost to the opinions of what everybody else had told me I was, or thought I was, or believed I was. When in fact, actually, I know deep down that's not who I truly am. I truly am love. I truly am happiness. I truly am positivity. I truly am my own worst enemy. I truly am my own worst critic. And then I realised, this is not about the human body experience. To get it right, I had to get it right inside, which meant I had to get my soul right. So I had to balance it out. And I learned in that, we all have dark sides. We all have light sides. Some of us choose to allow the dark through more. Others choose not to embrace the dark. And that's where I got my understanding of, actually, no. What's the point of ignoring them bits of me? I've been doing that for too long. I've not been letting them through and accepting them. So by doing that, it made me see that I was continuing the illusion of my childhood and what had happened growing up to continue in my presence. It was coming through into my presence. And I always thought growing up that I had this feeling of everyone was competing with me. But I didn't want to compete. I didn't feel I needed to compete. I felt enough. I felt loved. I felt da. And then I looked at the things that arised at certain years of my life, stages, when them stages are like them growth stages that are really is the word peril? I'm not sure, but they're really important for your emotional growth as well as your what's the word? Motor skills and your brain and your understanding of how it is meant to be. I realised that, unfortunately, how I felt as a child, of not feeling enough, not being wanted, being a replacement. I then realised that that's where that fear of failure come from. By not talking about it, because I didn't understand it, because I thought it was wrong and broken, that didn't fit, because I looked at things so differently, and I had to look at things so differently to get an understanding of it, to be able to see what was going on clearly. I'd switched off. I'd become living on autopilot. This robot of mine, this robot was empty of energy because I'd switched my heart off, which in turn switched my mind off. and allowed that empty space to be corrupted with toxicity and darkness of pasts that weren't my truth. They were never my truth. I see now that by doing that, I allowed that dark energy, that dark thought program, whatever you want to call it, I allowed it to happen by not standing up and speaking about what made me feel the way I felt, by holding on to the resentment of the hurt that people had brought into my life, whether it be intentional or unintentional, by holding on to it and not dealing with it and not processing it and feeling the feelings and emotions that went with it. I allowed myself to get lost in that abyss of what society and humanity say that we're meant to be and how we're meant to live. When I stopped and I paused and I said, no, I can't take no more of this hurt, I'm going to break, I'm actually, my insides are breaking, I'm going to fall and I'm crumbling, I'm shattering, I've got no strength no more. When I stopped and I asked myself, what is doing this to me? I found that it was me, and it was my fear of speaking up about my feelings and my emotions and what I felt. But it wasn't my fear, it was my fear of the other person's fear of me speaking up, because they knew too that they hadn't spoken about what they were feeling, that they had suppressed it too, and they knew it was wrong, but they were still too weak to face it and embrace it. And I am really truly sorry if me doing this has in any way brought on any fear or feelings of stress, anxiety, pain, failure, any of them. If it's done any of that to anybody that I may know or may not know, I apologise from the bottom of my heart, because that was never my intentions when I started this journey of finding out why I was feeling what I was feeling and why I was acting so oddly out of character. That was never my intentions to make anybody else worry or suffer or hurt or have to relive their past pains. It was never my intentions. My intentions was to see where I was going wrong, why my life kept coming back to them dark places that I knew I'd learnt from. I thought I'd learnt the lesson, and I realised I keep getting taken back to these dark past thoughts and feelings and emotions and timelines, because I didn't speak up for myself. I allowed myself to get lost every single time. So when I stopped and I faced it, it wasn't to hurt anybody else. It was for me to face the fact that I'd continuously hurt myself by allowing myself not to speak up, whether it be in a work situation, a friendship situation, a love situation, a family situation. I hadn't fully been honest in that relationship or situation. I had allowed myself to not truly express what I was thinking, what I was feeling. So in doing that, I realised I've got to heal. I've got to heal them hurts, them pains. I've got to find out why, where they come from, what the illusion was that I was keeping hold of. what was keeping me in that illusion. And I realised that it was people's fear of reliving the pain that they went through, to understand it, to be able to process it, to be able to shut the box on it. Not many people can do that. That's why it's called Pandora's box. That's why when it becomes spiritual journey, that's why you walk through the valley of the shadows. Not many people make it out. I now have an understanding that I was so gifted, and I am so honoured to be able to stand up and say, I'm not doing life how other people want me to do it, to make them happy, to make it fit for them. I'm not doing that no more. I'm doing me. What I feel inside is right for me, makes me happy. And then I realised, okay, so if I'm not this body, and that's the human experience, who the fuck am I? Where do I come from? And I couldn't grasp it at all. I couldn't grasp it at all. Not for 1 minute. I was sinking, and I was falling back into that fear of failing again. Failing again. So do you know what I did? I cut out technology. I cut out telly. I cut out all them things that I don't enjoy, that I've never enjoyed. I've never been one for telly. I've never been one for negativity. I've always been one for creating an adventure, whether it be true or not. I'll create something, and if it goes wrong, there's always a way to create it to make it better. And that's when I realised that it was the energy that my soul holds screaming out to me. The energy that the universe put in this human was screaming out to me. Stop doing this to yourself. Stop allowing the dark energies, the negative fields to destroy the energy that you hold within. Don't be ashamed of who you are. You have nothing to be ashamed of. You're loving, you're caring, you're thoughtful, you're funny. You know, I'll do everything to make everybody else happy. I wouldn't want to hurt a hair on anybody's head, not even my own worst enemy. I don't react. I have never reacted when somebody's hurt me. I've never gone and hurt them back. I've just kind of said, okay, that's what you're about. It is what it is. I'm going to try it and move on. Little did I know that it was just by not feeling the hurt and accepting that it hurt me and I didn't ask to be hurt and I didn't deserve to be hurt, it was getting stuck in my field of energy, which there isn't energy what makes things work. So I started looking at it from maybe the child kind of way, and I thought, okay, I can't understand it as a human, maybe I understand it as a kid, so let's get the imagination out and put that there and do there, change a bit there and change a bit there, so I can see it as a child. Maybe I'll get an understanding of it. And I did. And I realised, right, this artificial intelligence, these robots that Japan are making to look like humans, you know, and being empty, not feeling nothing, always feeling like I've got this black empty space in my brain. I made myself feel like a robot. So, if I'm a robot, how am I working? What's making me run? So I started going, I thought, hold on, that's a good point actually, because why are they making all these robots that are programmed and empty? and emotionless and feelingless and thoughtfulless. I thought, why are they doing that? Why would you do that? And I still to this day don't know why they're doing that. Or why would they even want to do that? Because in thinking about that, I then realised, hold on, why are they creating them robots like that? Because that's how I feel. I'm a robot. I feel empty. I feel dark. I feel like I'm on autopilot, that something's controlling me and moving me around, doing them day-to-day tasks, da-da-da-da-da-da. And I thought, hold on. So, da-da-da. Then I realised, oh, Joe, you fucking idiot. You are a robot. You have the energy inside you. You can change the program. Then it went even harder. And I was like, but if I can change it, how do I do it? And then I realised, stop using this. Start using this. In using this, I started feeling the frequencies and vibrations around me. And I started to understand what was mine and what wasn't. I can't lie, a few times, the thoughts, the intrusive thoughts and the intensity of them intrusive thoughts, because I also have PTSD, complex PTSD too. That was what was trying to keep me stuck in the battle of how I'm meant to be, of what society says I'm meant to be, what humanity thinks I should do, how humanity says I should live to be happy and whole and free and in love. And I realised, no, you're not doing that to me. You're not using my own desires and my own mind against me for me to crumble and fail, for you to win. It's not happening. I know who I am. I know what makes me tick. I know what my passion is and what I love. And you will never, ever use my passions and desires against me. You shall not use them to bully me, into me submitting into what you believe that you want for society as a whole. No, I will stand up and be strong for myself, because I love myself. And to be able to love yourself, you have to see, yes, you have darkness, but you also have light. It's finding the balance in the middle, in between, the common ground. It's okay for other people to live their lives how they want to live them. It doesn't mean what you believe isn't correct or true. It's correct and true to you. I can't control others, and nor would I want to. I've all my life I've had people around me because they needed me to be around them, not because they wanted me to be around them. Some of them, yeah, have truly wanted me to be there because they actually genuinely want me to be me, but most of them, no, they had me there for their needs, for their uses, and that was the hurt and pain that I was keeping hold of. That was allowing me to be stuck in the illusion of what I thought my present moment was, when actually that's not my present. That's my fucking past. And that's when I learned, Joe, you've been through a lot, a hell of a lot. You're very talented in very many areas. You're very loving. You're very nurturing. You're very giving. But the one person you're not giving and nurturing to is yourself. So that's when the penny finally dropped. That I needed to be strong, and I needed to love me and who I was and what I believed, and I needed to nurture that. I needed to take care of that. I needed to love that. Instead of trying to love everybody else, I needed to give myself that love that I was so freely giving away to everybody else, but so closed off to receiving because of my past traumas, my past issues. But I'm not that person. I'm not my past. I'm me. I'm Joe. I'm the present, and hopefully the future. And I just wanted to say sorry to my friends and my family that I have pushed away due to being stuck in issues of past resentment, past moments of having to feeling that I had to compete for love and affection, or I say sorry for not helping my friends and my family, for seeing that their talents in whatever areas, whether it be creatively, knowledgeably, physically, whatever way, are needed just as much as my own. That me and what I believe and my talents cannot carry me through this world on my own. Being an individual with these gifts, with these talents, ain't gonna get me through. Yeah, I've got these talents. Yeah, I've got these gifts. And other people can see it too. But that doesn't mean I have to let them control how I use them or how I feel I want to use them. So I said, okay, I love that. But am I too old now to do that? I mean, I've been hit by a car. I've got rods in my back. I've had surgery on my knee. I've got sciatica. I had a perforated bowel. I've got mental health issues. I've got this, that. Oh, whoa. And then I started looking and thinking, oh, fucking hell, society ain't going to accept me as that. No way. They're not going to share my creative gifts that I want to go out there and share with the world to help other individuals see whatever gift it is that they have. They don't need to hide it away, because the world needs it. The world needs us to share our talents and our gifts. And I know my gifts happen to be in the entertainment area. I love to sing, I love to dance, I love to laugh and joke about. But I don't like how the world portrays that, because it portrays it as it being the key to power, when that's not the power at all. Money is not power. Fame is not power. Being popular is not power. Being you is power. Loving you is power. Liking who you are is power. Not allowing other people's thoughts and opinions of who you should be and what you should do, keeping that their illusions, their projections of who you should be and what you should do with your talents, keeping that projection away, and believing in yourself and knowing who you are and trusting within yourself. That is power, right? But unfortunately, people that have had these talents and been in that industry have always wanted to be better than one another. They've always wanted to be the best of the best of the best of what there is. When, hold on, there's no such thing as perfection. Seeing the imperfection in a person and still believing they're perfect, that's perfection right there. Now, I don't promote myself to be perfect, far from it. I'm very broken. I'm a very broken individual. But I broke me. Some of my past traumas might have started what broke me, but in the end it was me that broke me. It was me that truly broke my heart. Not any of them energies. Me. Because I allowed that illusion to cast illusion over what I knew to be true. My gifts, my talents, my love, my heart. And I ain't doing that no more. So I just want to say to anybody out there that is living in a fear of not being able to speak up about how they feel or what they've been through because of other people being involved in the situation or circumstances. Never deny yourself your truth because of fear of hurting somebody else. Feel and open up and deal and be proud and brave and courageful in speaking about what you've been through and how it made you feel, and understand why you felt them emotions, and that it is okay to feel emotions, because in understanding and accepting we have thoughts and feelings, and that is okay and it is natural to feel. That is where the power begins. Within, emotions are not weak. Showing your emotions does not make you less of a person. In fact, to me, showing and understanding your emotions makes you very, very, very strong and powerful. I will stand here on my own. I don't need people around me to feel powerful. I feel powerful within because I now have an understanding of my heart and my head. Logic and emotion, they work together, cause and effect. Think about it, people. If we don't start speaking up to our emotions, living and feeling our emotions as we know to be true, we are going to continue to stay in a cycle of darkness and just trying to better one another and being bigger and better and is the best when it's not. Look at all them artists, look at all them scientists, look at all them geniuses that strived for the best. I bet if you could go back in time and have them here now speaking to you, I bet they'd say they'd change everything. I guarantee it. Because they were lonely. They got to the top, they had all the success, they had all the money, they had all the power. But what they didn't have was an understanding of emotions. And they didn't have the understanding of emotions, which meant true, real, honest, pure love from above, from the universe as it was meant to be. Because they gave in to fear of being rejected or being outcast because of their beliefs. When in fact deep down they knew, getting to the top is all funny, but when you get there it's a very lonely, lonely, lonely place. And what are you prepared to sacrifice to get to the top? Who? And what's going to make you feel that you got to get to the top? It's all illusions. Being famous, being in power, being a leader, that doesn't make you feel love. That doesn't make you feel good. That doesn't make you feel happy. It brings the total opposite. And it can make you a fake and false identity to who you truly know you truly are. And I'm not going to do that to myself anymore. I know who I am. I'm not an imposter in my skin. I am a creative energy, a creative soul. I'm an old soul, a lost soul. But I'm not allowing that soul to get lost in the dark. Not again. No way. Not after everything I've been through. And I come out the other side of that, still here, not looking like what I've been through. I'm not wasting this last chance. Never. To get out there and pretend that I'm this and pretend that I'm that and what? Just to make money, to have control of people that believe that then they don't have a choice to change, when actually they have every choice to change. They are capable of change. They just don't see that they have a choice to change. And that to me, that is fucking wrong. And that to me says people of power, world leaders, using and abusing their authority in every area and every aspect of life as we know it. For the publicans, the people that don't have as much as them, that could have and should have as much as them, but are made to see their lives in such a way it's impossible, when actually it's not. All we need to do is show each other that we need each other, that our talents need one another's talents to become bigger and stronger, brighter and last for longer. And that is why the people in charge of this world have us all tearing chunks off each other. In the streets, in our houses, in our hearts, in our homes. Whatever way they do it, they split us right down the middle, and they cause judgment when there shouldn't be no judgment in the first place, because we all have the right to be who we believe we are. End of. Simple as. The cycle goes round again until the pattern's broke, until someone's strong enough to stand up and say, no, this isn't right. It's wrong. What are we doing to ourselves? What are we doing to the world? Why are we fighting one another? We should be helping one another, loving one another, raising our energies, raising our vibrations. Why are we allowing ourselves to stay stuck in a mindset of fame makes you happy, money makes you happy, being able to do what you want makes you happy, being in love with you makes you happy, being true to you makes you happy, being able to express what you're feeling, what you're thinking, that's happiness. Knowing that you're not going to be judged or cast out for speaking up. And even if you do, you're still going to do it anyway, because you know you love you. And when you know you love you, you can love others too, like truly love others, really love them, and have an understanding that they may too be going through hard times, and that they may be acting out of character, and that isn't truly who they are, but not forcing it upon them to change or behave that way. Just allowing them to find themselves, find what makes them happy, what's right for them. That's love. That's real love right there. And sometimes when you love somebody, when you really love somebody, you have to let them go and be free. Because real love would never keep that thing they love caged or locked away, not being able to be itself. People have got too lost in fucking visuals and materials of this world, and they've forgotten what we are actually here for. We are here to love one another, to help each other grow and evolve. What about our kids? Right? Do you actually stop and think about your kids when you're doing what you're doing, the choices that you're making, and if they're the correct for yourself and the future generation? Yes, I know we're meant to live in the here and present, but we're also meant to take into account the effect of our behaviours. And are we doing them in a loving, in an integrative way? Are we doing them for the right reasons, or are we doing them for the wrong reasons? And are we stepping on people for our own gain, or are we gaining and helping others see their gain? And I just think more people need to speak up and stop being so scared to say, it's okay. You went through that, but you didn't know that it's not your fault. You was a child, or you was... Do you know what I mean? Why are we sweeping it under the rug? Lots of us have suffered in our childhoods, but no one wants to speak up about it and face it. We will fucking wipe it under the rug, hoping it'll go away, and it doesn't. It goes down into the next generation, and the next generation, and the next generation. Well, why can't we be strong enough to stand up and say, no, this is who I am, this is who I want to be, and that isn't the right way to behave. That isn't love. Love isn't controlling. Love doesn't have limits. At the end of the day, we all need love. We all need love. Love is what makes the world go round. So why are we not loving and understanding how people are thinking and feeling? Why are we continuing to let our own selfish needs of what we believe love is to actually cloud what love really is? Ask yourself that, people. Stop and ask yourself, are you doing what you truly love? What you truly, truly love? And are you showing what love truly, truly is? Are you being giving and receiving? Are you being equal? Are you being humane? Or are you allowing the power and the illusions to keep you stuck and not speaking up? Well, me, I got there now. I know who I am. I know what I am. I know what my passion is. I know my areas, but I will never use my passions or what I believe my frequency is to keep other people hurt and stuck in an illusion of what brings full, true, honest, powerful love. Never will I step on anybody else to gain. Never will I hurt somebody because I'm hurt. I would rather hurt myself and heal myself before hurting anybody else. Even if it means I sacrifice my true passions, I would do that in a heartbeat. In a fucking heartbeat, I would give up my talents, my love, my passions for creativity. I would give it up in a heartbeat if it meant I could heal myself, like really heal myself. Because I will never, ever, ever allow my passions and desires to be used on me into keeping me in a mindset of pain and hurt where I would willingly want to help anybody else. That's not me. It's never been me, and never ever will it be me. I am me, and I'm fine with that. I don't care whether you lot are or not, but I just need people to know that I've pushed away my family, my siblings, my members, to know that I'm not competing for love. I'm not competing to fit in. I'm not comparing myself with any of you or what you got going on in your lives. I don't need to challenge anybody to be me. I'm me, I'm free, I'm me. I'm sorry if you're hurt, if you've got pains going on inside that you can't deal with. But know this world still needs you. It needs you to stay strong in who you truly are and find the courage to embrace yourself. You don't need to be like me, and I don't need to be like you. Together we need to see the differences we have in each other and bring it together to make a better place, and that's all it is. By competing or making rivalry between relationships, it's not helping, and it's never going to. All it does is push you further away from what you truly, truly know you deserve. So why would you do that to yourself? Why would you hurt yourself like that? Well, we all do it. I've done it. I'm the fucking master at doing it, I suppose. But now I'm going to master the not doing it to myself. I'm not going to hurt myself. I'm not going to compete for affection and love, because I know I deserve love. I am love. I am willing to receive it. I'm capable of having it all. There ain't no technology or visuals or frequencies that are going to change what I feel and I know inside. So I just want to put this out there and try and give others hope that it's okay. You don't got to do it publicly like me. I'm doing it now because I feel strong enough to do it, to show people that it's okay to go back to that hurt, that past, that it's not going to break you. It might have broke you when you was younger, but it won't break you again. Because you're still here. That's what you got to remember. You're still here. You're still standing. And it can't break you. So why not face it and accept it and embrace it and be loving and share it with the world and make it a better place like we was meant to. Because the world, it needs us to. It needs us to take that look inside and make them changes. MJ had it right. Start with a man in a mirror. Look at yourself and make that change within you. And then the world will change with you. I love you guys. Find that love in your heart and let it spark up and grow into what it was truly meant to be. Stop allowing what the world says it should be like. Cast illusions into what you truly know it's meant to be like. I hope you all enjoy your Monday madness. And I know this was a bit long and random and like da-da-da-da-da-da-da, but that's me. Hey, love you. Enjoy your day, guys.